like I say, as you investigate more, you're going to find out that the Pentagon is like the world collection site for all other countries. Like like every single one of my of the buildings of the past, the Capitol building in Italy, the the palace in Moscow, the what's called the big buildings in Britain, you will find out that those were like stopping points for me. I would just go to one country, we would build up, new stuff would be shared. People would start building like wagons. I had like wagons being built um, in like four countries. Basically the same wagon. All it is basically some dowel rods. You just take a tree and dowel it up, and you got a wheel. And so I had wagons being made in Russia. I had wagons being made in America. I had wagons being made all over the world. Now I'm not really getting the money from this. This money is going into a massive account, and mostly this money. I mean, money, you can't eat money. Um, anyway, plows were being made in India for Indians. Um, Plows were being, I mean, the Russia was being plowed with plows. Basically the same technology. It's just sharing technology. It's the Mennonites. It's all these old groups, and and so you know there was just anyway, there were a couple of problems like blights. There was also a little bit of a plague. Um, Whole point was, though, the world's doing this project, and it's been doing this project with me for a while, where we're just building up, increasing. Like I say, everything is fun, and all of a sudden, for some strange reason, Stalin and Japan. Now I know that Japan starts executing people because America firebombs them for no reason. I don't know why America firebombed Japan, but they firebombed one of their cities, and like I say, they killed a whole bunch of U.S. citizens. And anyway, though, and Nixon knows about the recordings in the White House, and Nixon says says no, it's those other guys, because I don't think Kennedy knew about. One of the presidents does not know about the tapes in the White House. One of the presidents didn't know that anywhere in the White House, if you speak, I had the whole White House wired. So anywhere in the White House, if you say your name, tape recorder turns on. It was all voice activated. Nixon was telling the truth about that. So one of the presidents doesn't know. They go into the White House, and I don't think they know that the Secret Service has tapes for everyone. They go back quite a ways too, ever since the invention of the recorder. Like I said, America had the tape recorder and the recorder for about 10 years before anybody even knew it. It was, before it was given to the worldwide market, because it was so expensive to build the tapes. So only leaders and stuff got film. It was very time consuming and very expensive. And like I said, there was people that were starving. There was a plague. And so, I'm not going to waste time and effort on making film or stuff like that when people are literally starving out there. So anyway, America, or the world, knew about the submarine. Like I said, the thing about the uranium or something like that. I was shipping it in clay containers or something like that. Anyway, I wanted a stable transport of the uranium. So a U-boat picked up uranium from Germany and took it over to Japan, because, well, if the nuclear reactor went south in Japan, the whole island could be sealed, and that would give enough space basically where Japan or China could just pull back a little bit, and they would lose some land, but not a big deal. So it would just be radioactive. Although in hindsight, because there's water transfer underneath and that poisons the ocean, it was a mistake, I guess. But plus, there's also the problem of overheating and stuff like that. Anyway, whatever. There was a lot of little things I was like, an island maybe. I don't know. Anyway, though, my scientists were like, oh yeah, sure, no problem. So Anyway, though, they were doing the nuclear reactor, the first nuclear reactor, well, second one. Like I said, there was Russia, or Chernobyl site, and that was because there was a radar dish or a radio dish there, and then there was Windscale, and then there was Japan. Those, I believe, those were the first nuclear reactors ever, and maybe another one in America somewhere. Anyway, though, the point is that there was this massive project. So all of a sudden, anyway, everything is fine, and then you get up into the last four presidents. We move through thousands of years, and then we get up to the last four presidents, and then all of a sudden, for some reason, there is war. I never ordered Germany or Berlin carpet bombed. That was not one of my orders. I'd never do that. At least I don't think I would. They even say in Berlin, and there's even things saying that our bombers do not bomb civilian targets, so it couldn't be our bombers. And America now says that we do not bomb civilian targets. So the question is, why were American bombers bombing civilian targets? If we now feel like we don't bomb civilian targets, and yet back then they didn't care. Now, the reason why we don't bomb civilian targets is because I don't feel, I mean, it's not what I do. But America also firebombed Tokyo. There was no base there. There's no reason why we would bomb Tokyo. I don't even understand. So anyway, though, and those are two civilian cities that were bombed just because. Anyway, like I say, someone was doing extermination, or someone was doing something throughout the world. Anyway, I feel personally that there was Kennedy or one of the others. Someone said to me that they knew who was doing it, and they were going to take care of it. Next thing you know, the next thing I know, I was told by somebody that they knew who was doing it, and they were going to take care of it. And the next thing I know, Kennedy's dead, and then Kennedy's son or brother, and then more recently the latest Kennedy. And these are people. These are people like the Chinese and Japanese spies and the German spies, and I mean, this is the rest of the world that basically said, we know who's doing it, and we're going to take care of it. So, because like I say, I mean, there's all the Jewish people, they were exterminated. People watched their brothers and sisters die right in front of them. Like, I'm not kidding, it's been covered up, but they would line up people in the streets, and they would just go down with a gun, and they would just shoot them. Those are civilians. It's like the equivalent of going to LA and walking down the Bronx and being like, okay, all of you out of that block, all of you blacks, come on. Okay, in the street. Pop, pop, pop. Or, and now let's do the whites. There was no, and these are not Jewish people. These are just German people. People from Berlin, people from whatever. And they did the same thing, I believe, in Tokyo. They did it all over the world. They were just killing people. Anyway, I don't really know if it was Japan or Russia, but anyway, it had to have been America. Like, America was the only one with anonymity. America was the only one that wasn't going to be searched. All the other governments were searched by people.